All right, my little math friends, we're on our very last lesson of chapter 5, and we're going to be talking about another application of percent. This time we're going to be calculating simple interest. Okay, and I'm going to be telling you guys what interest is. I'm going to walk you through this. It has to do with banking and money. Sometimes you lose money, sometimes you make money, but we'll figure out what this is and how we're going to calculate it. Okay, interest is a percent applied to a certain amount of money. Okay, it's a percentage applied to a certain amount of money, like maybe I don't know, 5%, something like that, maybe 10%. Okay, it's a percentage applied to a certain amount of money, and there's two things that can happen. Okay, number one, we'll talk about what happens when a bank makes money. All right, when a bank makes money, here's the situation. A person wants to buy something like a car, a house, or something like that, and they need some money to go and buy it. All right, so a person takes out a loan, and the bank charges interest on the amount that was borrowed. Okay, a person takes out a loan to buy like a car or a house, and interest, a percentage of that money, is taken from the amount that's borrowed that the person has to pay back. Okay, so like an example is like a car loan. If you go buy a house, okay, there's a mortgage, which is just money borrowed to go and buy that house. So a certain percent of that money you borrow, okay, gets paid back to the bank. And that's how the banks make their money in some of those situations. Okay, now there's another situation, and this is when people make money. Okay, and when a person makes money, this is when people put money into the bank and then they get some interest back. Okay, so a person places money into an account. Okay, this account can be at a bank or it can be at a financial institution, someplace like that. And a person earns interest on the amount they deposit. Okay, so they put money into the bank, and then they get some interest, some money back from putting that money into the bank. Okay, some examples of this, you may have heard terms such as mutual fund. Okay, that's where you put money into a financial institution and you get some money back. A lot of people have saved money for retirement. Okay, that money goes into a bank or some sort of financial institution so that they can make more money. Okay, so that way they have more money for retirement, or they make money with a mutual fund. Okay, so let's check out how we go about calculating interest. Okay, there's a formula I'm going to introduce you guys to for calculating interest, but let's take a look at this first situation and we'll see how this kind of comes together. Okay, Terry deposits $200 into a bank account that earns 3% simple interest per year. Okay, what is the interest after 2 years? Okay, basically the interest is the money Terry is going to make. So what is the interest after 2 years? Okay, what's Terry going to make? All right, so let's get our math facts figured out here. Terry deposits $200 into a bank account. Okay, remember depositing is positive. All right, that money earns 3% per year. All right, what is the interest after 2 years? Okay, there's our three math facts that we need. We need the amount Terry put in, the 3% interest, and the 2 years. Okay, and here's the simple interest formula. Here's the formula that we use to calculate interest. It is interest, okay, the amount Terry makes, interest equals, okay, the principal, and I'm going to talk about what principal is. Okay, just be patient. Give me a second. The principal times the rate times time. Okay, we're going to multiply three things together to get the interest. The principal, the rate, and the time. These three things are going to get us what interest is. Principal, this is just a bank word. Okay, this is a word that banks use. Okay, principal is just the original amount. Okay, that's all it is. The original amount. Okay, so our original amount right here is what Terry put into the bank, the $200. Okay, so that's what principal is. Let's go through and let's calculate what the interest is, what Terry's going to make in this situation. Okay, so number one, all you do is you place the numbers into the formula. Okay, so here's our formula here. To make that formula shorter, it is just I, which stands for interest, equals principal times rate times time. Okay, that's how they kind of like abbreviate that, make that shorter in the math world. All right, interest equals principal times rate times time. Okay, so let's just get these numbers in here. We don't know what the interest is yet, so we're going to say I because we're not quite sure. The interest is going to equal the principal, which is the amount Terry put in, which is our $200. Okay, so there's my principal, times the rate, and the rate is what the percentage of the interest is. Okay, so my rate is 3%. Okay, and I need to change that to a decimal before I can do any math on that. All right, percents have to get changed to a decimal. So put a decimal point at the end because it doesn't have one. Move that over 2 places. You got an empty spot. Fill that with a 0. So that's going to become 0.03. Okay, change that to a decimal. So my rate is 0.03 as a decimal. Then I'm going to multiply that by the time. And the time, the amount of time that's going to go by is 2 years. So it's just going to be 2. Okay, so we just multiply these numbers together. And the interest is going to equal these 3 multiplied together. When we do that, it comes out to $12 interest. Okay, and there is our answer. Okay, that is how much money Terry made. Okay, so we're going to say Terry made this money right here. Okay, that's what she made. She made $12 because she put $200 into the bank at 3% interest. Okay, so we just did step number 2. We calculated the interest. Right? Put those 3 numbers into the formula, and that's going to get you the interest right over here. All right? Let's take a look at one more example. This one's going to have an extra step, okay, but it's not going to be too bad. All right, this one's just going to have one extra step. Here's what we got. Arain borrows $400 on a 4-year loan. Okay? She is charged 5% simple interest per year. How much interest is she charged for 4 years? Okay, and what is the total amount she has to pay back? All right, so we got a double question math problem here. First, we want to find out how much interest she is charged for 4 years. And then secondly, we're going to find out what is the total amount she has to pay back. Okay, so let's go through here and let's identify our math facts. She borrows, okay, so that's negative. She borrows $400, okay, on a 4-year loan. Okay, so that's how long it's going to last. It's 4 years. She's charged 5% simple interest per year. All right, so there's our 3 numbers that we need. And that's going to allow us to do this right here, to calculate how much interest she's charged for 4 years. Okay? Step number 1, place the numbers into the formula. Okay, remember our interest formula from up above is interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. Okay, so we're just going to put these three numbers into the formula. Interest is what we're trying to find. That's going to equal the principal, which is the amount she borrowed, $400, times the rate, which is this right here. We need to make that into a decimal, so we're going to do that off to the side here, 5%. If we make that into a decimal, it doesn't have a decimal, put one at the very end, move that 2 places to the left, it goes right there. Fill that empty place with a 0, so that becomes 0.05. 0.05. Okay, so there's our rate times the time, and the time here is going to be 4 years. It's a 4-year loan. All right, there's our three numbers we have. We're going to multiply those three numbers together. When we multiply those, it comes out to $80. Okay, $80 in interest. Okay, interest. So this is what the bank gets. Okay, this is the money that the bank gets right there, is the $80. All right, so we just did step number 2. We calculated the interest. Okay, and we answered this question right here. How much interest is she charged for 4 years? She's charged $80 interest. Okay, the next question, what is the total amount she has to pay back? Okay, so she has to pay back the principal plus the interest, and that's going to equal the total paid back. Okay, so that's what she's going to have to pay back. So we're going to, step number 3, we're going to add the interest to the principal, and that's going to get the total that she has to pay back. Okay, because she has to pay back the $400. Okay, she owes that money. She borrowed that money. She has to give it back. Plus, she has to pay the interest. Okay, that's the amount that the bank's going to make for letting Arain borrow the $400. So the total amount that she's going to pay once she's done is $480. Okay? So there's your lesson for you in borrowing money and also making money, depending on if you're taking a loan out or if you are putting money into the bank to be able to make some money. All right? There's how you guys calculate interest. The interest formula right there. 3 numbers you put in, multiply them together, and you automatically get your answer. It's pretty nice. All right. Don't forget that. Try this problem. See how you guys do. Now, see you guys next time in class, and we'll work out some more interest problems together. Okay. Thank you for watching.